Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturgio and Chris Gucci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode and edition of the Mojo Market Report right here on a Tuesday. It is Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. And ladies and gentlemen, returning from the dead, it is Chris Gucci, yes. Ladies and gentlemen.
I did die, and then I went on vacation. So it was a loaded week for me. We're not going to get into the details.
No, let's not do that.
I got my ass beat
still gonna
or
get
something.
Still going to get the police report. No. So how was Dallas? The greatest city in the world, by the way.
Bro, let's just make this.
Did I blow it up too much? Did I say you're gonna have a great time? Dallas is wonderful.
Two things. One, we were in Plano. This card show is not Dallas. We did go to Dallas twice. We went there for dinner and then
go to Mark Cuban's restaurant, the Sky Bar.
Now, is that Mark Cuban's now?
I think so because
the
it's
one that used to spin. It used to be Wolfgang Puck. It doesn't spin anymore, and it's called Crown Block. And yes, we did go there. And bro,
one of the greatest, coolest places in Dallas.
One of the most expensive places on planet Earth, also apparently, because woo. Yeah, that was on Break Buzz though. That wasn't.
And so you went out there for a card show. I was telling the fans and the viewers yesterday that you were out there for a card show.
Yeah, we were looking for love. Met Ricky Williams. We were looking for love.
He went with his girlfriend, and he was looking for Jordan Love cards.
We were looking for Jordan Love cards.
I went out to Texas looking for love.
But that was our objective going in. We didn't get there until later Thursday, so we could only peek in. Weren't really making any deals. But Friday, we went hard. Got a bunch of Jordan Love cards. Got them submitted. Did our first PSA submission.
They all come back all right? Or you don't get them back yet, right?
We'll find out, but probably not. No, we'll be all right. We're learning. We had a good weekend, though. It was fun. Met Ricky Williams. Said, "Hey, Ricky."
That's great.
And then Joe was like, "I like your vibe." And I was like, "You smell like weed." He was like, "You do too." And I was like, "I know, Rick. Meet us in the corner."
The best part about you being gone is that I had somebody in the studio come in and they're like, "It smells like weed." And I was like, no, it's weird. That doesn't happen around these parts. Anyway, it's legal.
Wait, where is it? I've been looking for it.
Listen, I sold it. Because somebody got to make some money while the big man's gone. Listen, big game last night. We'll get into it. Obviously, right off the rip, there was a lot of NBA stuff to go around. Obviously, just not because of the game. We'll get into the game in a minute. But yesterday, some breaking news in the NBA. One of my favorite players to ever grace the New York Knicks uniform, Mr. Three-Pointer himself, Carmelo Anthony retired. I know he's not a Knick, a known Knick.
Carmelo, I would say Carmelo is a bona fide Knick.
Right? Okay.
I mean, he's New York
enough.
Through and through. When the Knicks were in the
Syracuse,
postseason this year, when they were in the I mean, he is from Baltimore, but I know I think he was born in New York.
Okay.
But then grew up in Baltimore. But the point that I'm making is they were in the postseason this year. Where was Melo? Courtside at the New York Knicks game. He wasn't in courtside in Denver. He wasn't courtside.
That is kind of weird, yeah.
So I think he's just got more ties to New York. He lives there now, I want to say. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony. I know that he didn't.
He's one of the best players to ever play.
He didn't live up in terms of championship caliber player, but he really played in an era where he didn't have much of a chance to. Because of LeBron existed,
and unfortunately, he gets a bad rep for that one good season when, I think it was a shortened season and Linsanity developed, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Melo was the reason why that ended because he didn't like it." Somebody else taking a spotlight, but at the same time, it's just just enjoy the ride, man.
Let's just be honest here. Linsanity ended because Linsanity ended.
It's
not like he went out
Jeremy
to a
Lin was a good player, had a really cool run.
He didn't go to a bunch of other teams and light it up. He was just a very good player, average player at best, or very good at best.
There's a great documentary on Jeremy Lin.
Let's just not act like Carmelo blew up a dynasty with Jeremy Lin.
Exactly.
They won like a couple games that month.
Yeah, they did. They beat Toronto, and Toronto was a big, big day. I think the biggest thing was when he dropped. I think he beat Kobe Bryant. That was his biggest claim to fame. I think he dropped 48 in the Garden or something like that.
I think the Lakers were like 23 and 50 that year.
Nobody cares. But anyway, speaking of the said Lakers, it is over. The 2023 season, 22-23 season for the Lakers has come to an end. The Joker puts a stop to this. Last night, I said it about the previous game over the weekend that even in Joker's non-dominant performances, somebody else was to step up, and it was Murray. And he, once again, last night steps up. There's a different vibe when – did you see the game, first of all? A little bit. I'm sure you saw highlights.
I didn't see yesterday's game entirely. I saw that it was close. I turned it on when it was close, and then the Lakers
were up big. They were playing very well. LeBron had a fantastic first half.
they erased the lead, and then it said, "Oh, go to whatever tune into ESPN." I got the update on Bleacher Report. Fell asleep.
Yeah, well, I actually stayed up with like one eye open watching the game, but I will say this. What you saw yesterday was a complete team win out of Denver. We said it going into the playoffs. If this team plays the way they're playing with the players they have, very hard to beat. Did I expect LeBron James to get swept out of the playoffs? No, I did not. I really thought they would have at least picked one up in LA, but to no avail. And Joker played again. Some of the shots this dude's made. Bro, where does he get his form, by the way? There's a 3-point shot where he's like, he starts here, and he's like, I'm just like, dude, and it just, bink, and just buckets. And I'm like, this is insane, and he's one of the best players I've literally watched in a long time.
We're talking like Jamal Murray might be Michael Jordan's son.
I mean, he picked it up
what's
too.
Going on with
Michael
that?
Jordan just dropping offspring.
The fourth quarter or the second half, really, in both of these last two games, it's been Jamal Murray's show. He's just too good at basketball when it comes to crunch time, and he has just a different game speed. It's like Jimmy Butler does, and so when these guys have to rise to the occasion, they do. Speaking of Jimmy Butler,
well, we'll get into that in a second. But before we get to Jimmy Butler and the Heat, which goes down tonight, I got to ask you. Is there a shred of you that thinks LeBron is actually going to retire? He molded over on the press conference. Me personally, LeBron is it's so hard to actually. This is the reason why I didn't like LeBron for the longest time, because I feel like it's me. I need all the attention, blah, 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 right? Last night, ABC and ESPN doesn't do him any favors by following every step he takes. Bro, the camera was on him losing over Joker winning.
What I'm saying. It's what's he supposed to do?
That's what I'm saying. He's got his head down. He's walking towards the locker room.
Bro, like when you have a camera in your face 24/7, eventually you're going to say some stupid shit. So LeBron has, right? And when you're in the spotlight as long as he's been, you're going to maybe rub some people the wrong way. But when it's all said and done, we're talking about basketball here, right? Mm-hmm. What are we talking about? What are we trying to deny? What do we like? It's 20 years later and we're still playing this game.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
LeBron did it, guys. He made it. He did it. If he's not your GOAT, he better be your second best. I don't want to hear anything else. He better be 1A.
He better be, because at this point,
it's so funny when you hear about people that hate on LeBron. They're like he's not the GOAT, and it's like, okay, so what is he then? Oh, is he in your top 5? How much could you really hate? Like, oh, he's not the best of all time, but he's fourth.
The one thing I'll say about the one thing I will say about this, about LeBron and his career, is that I believe that Michael Jordan was a better basketball player with the ball in his hands. What I see as LeBron is an overall better athlete with the ball in his hands, and he could play phenomenal defense in his prime, swatting shots into the fourth row.
Both of these guys,
where the difference
both these guys, all defensive team potential at any given point, right? Jordan was an elite defender. LeBron's a very good defender.
I think
as well.
LeBron carries himself more like a linebacker.
I think Jordan's greatest gift was his athleticism. It's what LeBron brings to the table is his basketball IQ. He's athletic, and then he's 6'8".
Right, he's a big boy.
270.
Right,
running the wind. You're not going to see it. You can't. There's nobody that you're going to see ever again that's going to be LeBron James. Nobody.
So we did not see the final game of LeBron James.
No, he already, like 2 weeks ago, he was reiterated his
He wants to play with his son and all this.
I don't know if he wants to play on the same team. Like, I don't know. I'm sure that lines up where LeBron's going to be pretty much pick where he wants to go that offseason.
Probably, yeah.
That's probably how he lined it up.
Yeah.
So LeBron's going to go where he wants after next year. LeBron's not retiring. It's going to be Coach Bron.
Coach Bron. Look,
no question.
The gas tank was empty. He gave it everything he got. A 40, 10, and 9 game is nothing to sniff at. You can't just sit there and be like, well, like if it wasn't for LeBron James last night, this game is a runaway, right? Like Jamal Murray and Joker were doing their thing last night, and they were in their bag, and it was just that simple for them to execute. If LeBron doesn't put up 40 points, this game is not remotely close, and this series wasn't remotely close at any point. So end of LeBron for this year. Now we'll preview, obviously, once we get a winner out of the East, we could preview some NBA Finals, but the Nuggets get to the Finals for the first time in their franchise history, so that's awesome for them. I think the Jokic's comment about the trophy, did you see it? Like, what is this trophy? There's the Western Conference. What does this trophy mean to you? Nothing. He literally said nothing. It means nothing to him. So, again, dog mentality. He's ready to go for the Finals. Speaking of the Finals, they're waiting for a opponent. That might come in the form of Jimmy Butler and the Heat tonight. I said it on a couple of the solo shows. I said, look, if the Heat take 2 in Boston, take 2, like the first 2, I said this is not going to be a series because Boston has already, we already talked about it, historically played worse basketball on their home court than ever before, specifically in the playoffs. And then to do what they did over the course of the game 3, you poked the bear. You got Jimmy Buckets mad. He went out. He does his thing. Spoelstra's coaching his ass off. These guys are primed and ready to just put the foot on the throat tonight. I don't see it. I look at Jason Tatum and I'm like, what a star in this league. But then that star just kind of just fizzles out in the fourth quarter, and he just doesn't show up. So I don't foresee this being a game tonight. I really don't. Not in Miami, where a chance to get to the finals.
I could see a stolen game here for Boston. It's still the Celtics.
And it wouldn't matter.
They were one of the best teams in the NBA all year. For them to put it together for a day and shoot really well in an elimination game, I wouldn't be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they come out completely flat.
Right.
Their coach's job is on the line. I think that there's some real conversation to be made about how the Celtics season would have played out if they didn't have that issue with their coach, Udoka, in the offseason, where whatever he had going on with that female staffer, that sucks for that situation because I think the Celtics had, it's hard to win right away with a first-year head coach in the NBA. Of course.
I mean, look at the Nets.
Or any sport for that matter. And it sucks for the Celtics, but they're done at this point. Even if they win a game, they're not winning 4 in a row against Jimmy Butler.
No, they're not.
I wanted to point out something about Spoelstra and the Heat in general. It's hard to call what they're doing a dynasty because they haven't won anything. And that's just how you define what a dynasty is. But what they're doing and how they're doing it is so crazy in this day and age with the NBA lottery and how it's a star-driven league. They have 3 lottery picks on their team. They have 4 undrafted guys. And I'm not just saying on their team. This is the rotation. This is guys that are playing meaningful, big minutes in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're 1 win away from the finals. So
would you say
Spoelstra, top 10 coach
as a Heat guy like yourself, would you say if they get to the finals and they somehow take down the Nuggets?
Not going to happen.
Well, if they do, would this be the greatest Heat team you've ever seen? Because of the fact, I understand the greatest story. I mean, like the journey.
It would be.
It's got to be one of the most improbable runs ever.
Craziest runs ever. They lost the first playing game.
Right.
You know,
they're on the
this
brink.
is a team that was on the brink of elimination. I don't even know if they ran away with that second playing game.
But bro, not even that. They take down Giannis in the 1 seed. They take down the Knicks. They take down the Celtics. But what else do you need to prove of having to be the most elite team in the league right now? Right now,
well,
I'm not saying all year.
The Nuggets.
Well, again, they haven't. Yeah. All right, but even that, man, that to see Jimmy Butler against the Nuggets might be very good basketball to watch.
That team that had Shaq and D Wade,
right?
And
but they were expected to win and expected to do good, and they had LeBron, they had Wade, they had Bosh, all those teams.
No, I'm talking about.
I know pre that it was Shaq and Wade. They won titles there.
The first one where Dwayne Wade carried them, that Heat team won a title. So and then like obviously the dynasty with.
I mean, just looking what Jimmy Butler's been able to do is just remarkable.
Jimmy Butler,
plus all their role players.
Jimmy Butler is, I remember last year on the Chop Daily Show. R.I.P. We were.
There could be a possible reason.
We were talking about who's a star. What would you call a superstar in the NBA? And I made the case, begrudgingly. I shouldn't have made this case because now I'm admitting I was wrong. That Jimmy Butler wasn't a superstar. I said he's a top 20, 15 player, and when the playoffs come, he rises to the occasion, but he's just not a superstar. In the sense that I was thinking, well, he's definitely a superstar.
Here's a bowl of your words. You can eat those.
Eat them.
So, in any event, that goes down tonight. I fully expect the Heat to put it away. Maybe the Celtics come out and actually put out a decent performance. We do have some NFL stuff that dropped yesterday. Something dropped this morning, as a matter of fact. Austin Eckler, who was rumored to have asked for a trade. He wants out. Get me out of here, blah, blah, blah. He now receives a new deal with some incentives over in L.A., so he's staying put, but he will be a free agent at the end of this year, and that's no questions asked. So he's going to ride this out and has a chance to make up to $2 million more this year in his contract. So him, Kellen Moore, new little offensive thing. Listen, Kellen Moore had Tony Pollard and Zeke last year, and we're able to kind of mix it together. Now you have a Austin Eckler who, to me, is better than both of those guys, and I think that, it's going to be fun to watch. Justin Herbert, that whole offense is going to be good. That's Eckler. The NFL passed a third emergency quarterback rule yesterday, which is beneficial, but just a little too late for some of these teams.
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered for the 49ers, but I think it's a good rule.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
anybody has an issue with this rule, they did not watch that game.
Right, exactly. So, like, when you put in a guy who has never played a game in his life, it seems like after Purdy got rocked around, this is a good rule. I like it. It doesn't count towards your roster.
Look, it's another job.
It is another job. So it's another roster spot with another game day check. So it's cool.
I wonder if Cam gets hired now.
Ooh.
No, he won't.
2025, you got plans?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Green Bay for the draft.
There it is.
Roast it and be like, what are you guys doing? This is so stupid.
So
no, you could be there live and enjoy the ambiance of Green Bay.
Well, from what I've heard from writers
people
who
are pissed.
They're pissed?
Yeah, everyone's pissed.
Yeah, because like I don't need these people coming into my town.
It's great for the city. The locals are pumped, but people are just like, I've been to Green Bay, and I've been to 10 drafts. They can't host the draft. And it's like, well, we'll find out.
Well, it's going to be April or May, so it's probably still relative. It's getting towards the summer.
The weather in Green Bay right now, you're not beating it.
It's mint.
I'm telling you right
nice.
now, it is mint. It's the problem is
not New Jersey.
It's early winter. Winter is coming.
Winter
early
is coming.
And hard. And,
one more piece of NFL news. So the Raiders have struck a deal with Tom Brady to become one of the minority owners of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, look, I know Brady had business with Mark Davis already with the whatever they call their WNBA team. I forget, Onyx, I want to say, something like that. But in any event, there was already dealings there. The writing was on the wall. Now, all of a sudden, Tom Brady becomes a investor, I guess you can call, in the Raiders. I wonder if does this have anything, like, can he keep his Fox deal with this? Like, he can't call Raider games.
Yeah, he's a minority guy. He's just got a stake. It's a figurehead. He's going to probably make a little bit of
Does he
passive
own as
income.
much as you own the Packers?
No, he
actually invested money.
Millions
you
of
got
dollars
a piece of
in.
paper.
Yeah, I paid $250 for mine.
$250. Holy shit.
Yeah, raised a lot of money though. I helped build the
Lambeau?
addition in Lambeau. The draft room made it.
And now they get to host the draft. Look at you. You see, it all comes full circle.
I made an anonymous donation.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take all the credit for it. Anonymous.
Before we get out of here, Bucky Brooks, good old Bucky, over at NFL.com, came out with an article yesterday. Make it or break it year for 9 quarterbacks that he listed, and I'll start in descending order. And I just want a yes or no. Do you think this is make or break? Do you think, how long is the guy's leash, is what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of guys. There's a guy in here that's not on the list. I'll say it right off the rip. Dak Prescott's not on this list. And I feel like I understand the money and all this other stuff, but, this is it for you, buddy. As far as Cowboys Nation is concerned, trust me, this is it for Dak.
No matter what happens this season,
he's the quarterback.
He's the quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. All right, starting number 9, Sam Howell in Washington. I know this is a first year for him to be the full-time starter. How long is his leash before they make a move to try to get a vet?
I don't think it's make or break for him just yet.
Okay.
I think it's more make or break for their coach. And for that reason, too, if they bring in a new coach, the new coach might say, or a new GM, I don't know how their front office is probably.
That's right. It's all jumbled right now.
So
yeah.
I think, Sam Howell, the verdict's still going to be out on him after this season, no matter how he does, because it's tough, man. That team sucks. And they do have some weapons in Washington now. Yeah. I'm actually looking at their offense yesterday. They have pieces in place. They have a good running game now all of a sudden. It's a matter of whether they're going to be able to stop people from throwing on them, a bunch of other things. But Sam Howell, I'm not really sure about. I don't think it's make or break because we haven't seen enough yet.
Got it.
Ritter, same thing.
Number 8, coming in at number 8, Desmond Ridder, Atlanta. So the confidence has been put in him by the brass. They're saying, look, they had a chance to go out and get Lamar. They had a chance to make the splash that they wanted to make, but they're sticking with Ridder. Is this a one-and-done type? I mean, he did show flashes, very, very simple flashes last year, but now all of a sudden you got your weapons back. Year 2, Drake London. Year whatever it is for Kyle Pitts. You got your new Bijan Robinson safety net. So they have a decent offense. Is this if Ridder can't get it done with these guys, what can he get it done with? Is that where we're at?
I also still think very similar to the Sam Howell situation. They're going to put Desmond Ridder in a very good position to succeed this year because last year they were one of the most run-heavy teams in football. They just drafted Bijan. Yeah. They're going to continue to do that. And Desmond Ridder has legs. He's able to run the ball, make things happen in the pocket. He looks like he's 35 years old.
He does.
Already.
He does look a little aged.
But maybe with that comes some wisdom. I think Desmond Ridder might be a decent player. He might stick around for a little bit. At the very least, we're looking at a Gardner Minshew type out of him.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But I could be wrong. Hopefully he does well. I got a I just submitted a Ritter auto.
Nice.
That I think might come back at 10. So
all right. Ryan Tannehill comes in at number 7 as the Titans. They drafted Will Levis. That's kind of writing on the wall right now where that's his replacement. Malik Willis is not. That experiment is run dry. Is it make or break right now for Ryan Tannehill? I did see a report, not a report, but like an article saying that a team like Atlanta should trade for Ryan Tannehill right now. So he is obviously a viable option, but is he the Titans' option going forward?
Do you really, if I'm Atlanta and they traded for Ryan Tannehill, I'd be like, what are you guys doing?
I don't
know.
But because I feel like they're built right now to strike with some youth, and the Atlanta offense is good.
Who's to say that a Desmond Ritter that's getting better isn't a better fit than a Ryan Tannehill who's clearly getting worse?
It's true.
I wouldn't say that it's make or break for Tannehill because I think it's already broken. And I don't mean that. Like, I think Tannehill deserves a job in the NFL, but he's a fringe starter at this point because of the amount of talent and athleticism that's coming up behind him. He might have to stave off a job, a couple guys for a job over the next couple years. I don't think it's going to be in Tennessee. I think he's done there after this season regardless, and they're going to move on to Levis. We'll see if Tannehill catches on somewhere else, but I think that kind of already, the writing is on the wall with what's happening with Tannehill's career. He may get an opportunity somewhere else for a team that's hungry for a quarterback, like if Washington doesn't pan out, or if Ritter doesn't pan out, any of the guys below, maybe Baker Mayfield, Mac Jones, you could maybe see Tannehill with New England. I feel like that might not be a bad fit.
That's not a bad fit.
Like just exactly the same exact player that they've always had.
Do we just skip
worse.
over number 6 because I know that how your feelings are about it, but it's Baker Mayfield. For him, this is now his 3rd stop. He went from Cleveland to over there with the Rams, had a couple nice games. People are like, oh,
Baker.
It doesn't seem like his heart is into it.
They might win a game here or there, but they're going to be the number 1 pick next year. So they're going to draft.
I think Arizona's going to lock that up.
I don't know, man.
Arizona's got a bad team right now, and now you don't have Kyler for the first couple months.
I think that when you have a team like Tampa, they're defense driven. They have a shit head coach, right?
Well, his defense is at least,
but it doesn't matter. He's not coaching the defense. He's coaching the team, and when you have a good defense and a shit quarterback, it becomes a tough locker room situation. Baker Mayfield is not a likable guy.
I don't agree at all with Jordan Love even being on this list as far as make or break because I feel like he hasn't had a fair shake yet. But, I mean, again, you're looking at this team and you're like, okay, who is the veteran leader on this offense? Who is it? Besides the running backs who have been there for a while. If you can look around.
Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins.
But none of the skill guys is what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's going to be a little tough sledding for Jordan Love. But that's why I also think it's not make or break.
I think Jordan Love is the leader right now on that team.
I mean, he's been there the longest.
His 4th year.
Right.
He's been waiting. I think it's going to be a good situation, obviously. But no, not make or break. They just signed him to a 2-year deal to make this a not make or break year. The next year is 100% the make or break.
You just mentioned it before. Mac Jones, I think 100% this is make or break for him. This is the year that they're going to find out. If he gets benched again for Bailey Zappi or anybody else in that regard, it is it. Mac Jones, the experiment's over. He got a little too overconfident in that rookie year where he kind of relatively balled out. Didn't really, he didn't light the scoreboards. But again, I don't think for whatever reason Mac Jones is the answer in New England. Again, warms my heart to see Bill Belichick to kind of be like, what the hell is going on around here? So
Mac Jones had a tough situation last year. They had a shit offense. They had Matt
Patricia. They didn't know who the hell the friggin' coordinator
and Joe Judge kind of calling plays simultaneously. That's got to be the rough one. They did hire Bill O'Brien to be the OC in New England. I think that's going to help Mac Jones tremendously. I think outside of the fact that they got Juju, I don't think that they have any offensive weapons to
Bourne,
speak of.
Is he still there? Kendrick Bourne? Yeah, right? He's a young kid. I mean, he's not like I'm not touting
the Raiders,
him.
I'm pretty sure Jacoby Myers is on the Raiders now.
Yes, he left the team that he gave the win to.
Yeah.
So that one.
So,
okay.
Mac Jones still struggling with weapons. They have a good run game that they're going to continue to use. They went defense heavy, so they didn't do him any favors in the draft. But, looking at around their division, it's going to be tough playing catch up with anybody, right? Because they don't have the offense to keep up with the Bills, with the Dolphins, even the Jets at this point. So
I agree.
Their recipe going into the draft this year was to say, we're not going to score with them, but we're going to try and have to keep them down. The
top 3
defense, Mac Jones.
Top 3 are very interesting. I think the writing is on the wall for one, Kirk Cousins. I think that there is a situation right now where they went out and they figured we're not drafting anybody to succeed him right now, but that offense, they get another weapon, right? you can't. And Dalvin Cook doesn't seem to be moving yet, so he might still be there. Even though, did you see the social media thing?
He's gone.
I mean, he's not gone yet, but it's
June
like
1st.
You think he's gonna be cut?
I don't think it. They said it. I know it. Unless something crazy happens and he takes a pay cut, which there's no shot he's taking a pay cut.
He's taking a pay cut. Because whoever signs him is not signing for what he was making right now. So that's a massive pay cut right off the rip.
No. He's going to get a new deal with wherever he goes, right? So it's going to be
1 year.
It's going to be a longer term deal. Like, they're not giving
I think it's one of those. If he's cut June 1st, this guy gets a 1 year deal somewhere. And then figure it out when he becomes a free agent.
Probably a 2 year deal.
We'll see. Maybe like an option.
I can't see a running back in his spot. Because if he becomes a free agent, it's different. You don't have to give up anything. People will probably pay him that second year to get him, because if there's a bidding war, which there will be, I know it's a running back, but now you don't got to trade.
Number 2 on this list is Jimmy G. Now, he just got there. He hasn't taken a snap yet. But is this make or break for a guy's career? Because, look, he sat behind Tom Brady for a while. He goes over to San Fran. He wins a lot of games. Never gets over the hump. Gets hurt, right? Banged up for the last couple of years. So is this make or break to find out that you have Devontae Adams, you have Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, changed his number to 8. That's going to suck. I hate that. But anyway, because you just know him as certain numbers. But anyway, so he's got Josh Jacobs. They lose Darren Waller, which is a big play option. But Jimmy G, under his old offensive coordinator, does he succeed? Is this a make or break year for Jimmy G?
I think Jimmy G,
for confidence reasons.
I think Jimmy G shouldn't even have confidence in certain aspects of the game because he hasn't ever thrown the ball down the field, etc. But what we got with Jimmy G is, like, we know what we got. Is Jimmy G out of the league if he doesn't succeed in Vegas? Probably not, because we know that he could step in as a backup for 8 weeks and then step in and just take over, and the offense miss a beat, but the huddle doesn't really look around and say, oh, we don't have a leader anymore. Jimmy G's a born leader at the very least. He's played a lot of winning football games. So it's going to take a little bit of failures with a head coach that we already all know stinks. And Josh McDaniels is probably going to give Jimmy G no options to win. They're going to hand the ball off 50 times a game. They're going to have Devontae wide open on the outside.
He's not using missed.
Not using him. I don't think Jimmy G can't throw. I don't think he could throw down the field, but they should be able to play Devontae dink and dunk a lot. 130 catches worth.
Yeah. Number 1 on the list.
And
this is why make or break is number 1 on this list. Is
Adams
because
is getting traded, by the way, I think.
What?
Yeah.
That was quick. Short love. He's going to get traded to New Orleans.
He's going to get traded to Green Bay.
Play with Derek Carr.
I'm not even making that up. There's like 4 reports that came out over the last 6 days. Come back to Green Bay.
Jared Goff is number 1 on the list.
And Yosh Nijman was what I read.
Jared Goff is number 1. Clearly, they went out and drafted Hendon Hooker to be his, you would assume, successor. They're built. They have a youth movement right now. Their number 1 receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They have a running back in which they dished off Swift. They replayed him with they drafted Gibbs, and obviously they have David Montgomery. Young team, another year under Dan Campbell. Is this one of those years where you could feel like, all right, if Jared Goff can't get it done with Dan Campbell in this regime, is this all right? Thank you so much for everything. You made the city of Detroit really happy for a couple weeks. Like
they just paid Goff, no?
I think he's just paid. He's just left over on his Rams deal as the trade happened. I don't think they gave him an extendo after that.
No, I'm pretty sure they did.
All right, I'll look it up, but I don't.
I'm pretty sure they had to.
No, I thought it was. I forget when he got drafted. Free agency is in 2025, so no. Drafted in 2021. No new deal.
No new deal?
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
What the hell? When did he start? 2020. I said drafted in 2021. This is the remaining contract, by the way, is $104 million left. Maybe they gave him an extension.
Yeah, they did.
I'm assuming.
And it's not like, it doesn't look like there's an out after this year.
There is a guaranteed salary in 2024 of $0. So there is an out.
There is an out.
There is an out for him. So that could be a thing.
There's no cap hit?
The cap number next year will be $31 million. If they cut him, the savings will be 26.9. So they're getting all that money back. That's going to happen.
He's done just based on that.
Yeah.
Forget everything else, how good he plays or not.
Right, exactly.
He's definitely done.
That number is going to
if he wins the Super Bowl, I think it's hard. You're going to have a hard
Oh,
time.
I'm sorry.
replacing.
Contract extension signed in 2019, it says right here. So that's my fault. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. But in any event, that's your list. And of course, right now, you want to follow us, you could do that by heading on over to the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at Mojo, M-O-J-O. They got a lot of liquid prop bets over there for the NBA playoffs. It's a lot of fun to get on over there, get yourself involved. And of course, another show in the books. Tomorrow, we'll break down the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics game. And, of course, anything else that pops off. The Yankees back in action, the Mets back in action, who have gotten red hot. Both teams are playing very good baseball. We'll break that down tomorrow. For Dave Sturchill, Chris Gucci, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. We'll see you guys tomorrow.